Jesus Christ. O you through whom creation is renewed, the theme for this pilgrimage. We look around and we see improvement made by volunteers or by the donations of the faithful. We see improvements over a period of years. More recently, you can see right immediately in front of us, just very recently, this last month. And we may look at these improvements and say, the shrine has been renewed. The shrine in God's creation has been renewed by these actions. But those of us who have come here for many years, many people more than I, look at it and recognize that it's still the same shrine, refreshed, rearranged, improved, but not really new. Is anything really new? Is anything really renewed, made new again? At this divine liturgy, bread and wine will become the body and blood of Christ. This is new. It may look very similar to a divine liturgy we went to last Sunday or during the week, but it's a new experience. At this divine liturgy, Robert and Gregory and Michael will become Subdeacon Robert, Subdeacon Gregory, and Subdeacon Michael. Something new upon the face of the earth. Not just improved. They studied and they did formative activities, but this is not a graduation. It's an ordination. They will be ordained by God and His church. Recently, I called upon the Eparchy of Parma to focus their attention on marriage. Two becoming one. Something very easy for us to acknowledge as new on the face of the earth. A marriage. An ordained person. A marriage is new, but aren't the two individuals become new as well? Each of them might say, you know, I'm the same person I used to be, but I'm a different person. This work, this collaboration of humanity and divinity, of humans and God, creates. Rejoice, O you through whom creation is renewed. Creation looks very similar to what it did before the time of Jesus Christ. It's the same, but it's different. This creation is different than the first creation. When God created the world, He created it from nothing. Totally nothing. For His recreation of the world, God has chosen not to discard everything that was previous, but to allow humanity, as it is, to share in this creating anew. The Holy Theotokos, the Mother of God, Mary, on behalf of all creation said yes, and together with all creation became new. Her life changed. It is easy for us to see that. But not only her life, but the whole of creation changed, became new. Today we celebrate how this person, this whole person, body, soul, and spirit, was taken up into God. She demonstrates how we too can be taken up into God by our saying yes to God. Indeed, blessed are you through whom all creation is renewed. In the first story of the Bible, we learn how we were created, male and female, Adam and Eve, in perfect harmony with God and with all the rest of creation. And of all creation, only we humans had the opportunity to become less than what God created. The trees are perfectly trees. The grass is perfectly grass. The stones are perfectly stones. But we humans, by adding our sinfulness to our humanity, have reduced us. We have free will to choose life through obedience or to choose death through sin. Sin has changed us from being true humanity. And salvation by Jesus Christ, by taking us back to the original, creates us again. And He creates all of creation with us. And how do we choose to become new? To be the person who can be taken up into God? In the gospel today, we heard a very common story. The people come to Jesus and said, "You know, Jesus, you are really something. We believe that you're even God. Blessed is the womb that held you, that gave you birth. And blessed are the breasts that gave you nourishment." As if Jesus was just residing in Mary until the time for that birth or for growth. But Jesus says to them, no, blessed rather are those who hear the word of God and keep it. Blessed are those, like my mother, who contributed to my birth, who contributed to my life. Blessed are you who cooperate with God, who through the holy sacraments allow God to be ever entering the world, to make the world new. How in the world can we cooperate with God? We are nothing compared to Him. The story of the gospel today teaches us much. Yes, we must take the example of both Martha and Mary by being active, but combining that activity with our unity with God, by approaching God, by allowing Him to speak to us and through us, never forgetting that we can do nothing without God. Indeed, we must indeed allow God to be in control. We can become new, you and I. We can be carried into the very divinity of God. But only if we return to that newness of creation. Only if we surrender to God's will, uniting our meager cooperation with the wonderful work of God. We can make holy all of creation. The environmentalists remind us time and again of how sinful humanity has upset the balance of nature. You and I can work directly for environmental causes, but more than anything else, you and I by rejecting sin and uniting ourselves to the work of God, can do more for bringing creation to its newness. Would that all humanity would be willing to do so. Would that each of us would be willing to do so all the time. Thankfully, we have the church. Thankfully, we have the saints, first among whom in heaven is our Mother, Mary. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory.